Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, as always. I am joined by the bodacious escort I live with, Wib. Say hello.
Hello. Am I important this week?
Yes, you're an escort. Escorts are phenomenally important.
Oh, great. Not like an escort mission.
Oh, no, everyone hates those. That's okay. No, I'm talking about like more of those really expensive prostitutes.
Oh, okay. That's fine then. That's fine. What have you been doing this week?
What have I been doing?
Yes.
Well, apart from likening you to an expensive prostitute, I haven't been doing too much, to be completely honest. It's been a rough couple of weeks for me. I've not played many new things. I've been a piece of shit, and I've been role playing on WoW.
You're doing the worst thing.
I've been doing the worst thing, and I'm sorry. And I think people will be ashamed of me for admitting that what I've been doing. I've mainly just kind of been like focusing on my art right now. Like
you have as well.
I literally, yeah. I've been painting my because I never finished painting my Warhammer army, and since we did the video of Wib's Orc Warband, there's a mounting pressure for me to finish painting my army, which I never really finished.
To be honest, because you're the sort of person that would like nearly finish a model and then move on to the next model because you were bored of it. So you ended up with an army full of models that none of them were fully painted, but most of them were mostly painted.
Okay. You're cheating because we are literally sitting on like at a table that has half of my miniatures on it.
Yep.
And you can see that all of them are nearly finished, but not quite. So that's cheating. You're not allowed that one. But yeah, I've been trying to catch up with painting my miniatures so I could do a video on my 40k army. I've been drawing a lot, and then writing, and I played the Doom 4 beta, the multiplayer beta.
Yes, I played a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, that was definitely very interesting. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, it's first person shooter, because of course it fucking is. It's Doom 4. If it was like an over-the-shoulder fucking building game, people would be rioting.
It turns out Doom 4 is actually a real-time strategy game. No one saw it coming, but that's what it is.
Wow. Well, there you go.
It's a visual novel.
You heard it here first. It's a dating simulator with RTS elements. It's basically fucking Harvest Mars.
I was hoping because my waifu would be Cacodemon-chan.
Oh, Cacodemon-chan, no, he's my waifu. Get your own.
Cacodemons are so tsundere.
I'd say like, I don't know, Incubi are probably more tsundere.
Possibly.
Anyway, very interesting. Just a multiplayer beta is kind of open and there for anyone to play. I played a bit. And the weapons are, I'm addicted to the rocket launcher. All the secondaries, from what I can tell, are kind of shit. But they're secondary weapons.
The shotgun's pretty devastating up close.
It's a shotgun, so I don't think that counts. But yeah, it's annoying that you've only got 2 weapon slots, which is a bit not Doom. I mean, like, I when I was a little girl, I used to play, like, at my house, because we had quite a big house. Every like couple of months, what would happen is my dad would invite all of his friends over, and we'd have a network day, like a LAN day. And I think my brother and I, we had our own PC, and my dad had his, so we'd take turns like playing Doom with the lads, like multiplayer LAN Doom, and that would be like a weekend. We'd just sit there, we'd play Blood, like Duke Nukem multiplayer was another one we played a lot, just like all sorts of things like that. And I will say, being like an old school Doom multiplayer person, whatever the fuck I am, I'd like the maps. The 2 maps that you've got do really feel like old multiplayer, kind of like classic multiplayer maps. You know what I mean? It's really difficult to describe.
Yeah, because there's 2 in the beta, one of which is kind of a foundry type one.
And yeah, the other one's like a heli kind of. There's inverted pentagrams and lava.
Yeah, I was going to say because there's the The Foundry one, it doesn't. It could fit into any kind of shooter in pretty much anyway.
Yeah,
but
easily.
the other one that's covered in pentagrams and demon heads, that is something that could only exist in Doom, and it's also the sort of thing that they wouldn't dare do in Doom 3. So the fact they're doing it here is kind of a good sign.
Well, I mean, like, visually, I think the maps are a little bit dull, but like the layout, I really feel is quite classic. I think that's what really sells it to me.
Okay.
Like the whole, like, when you be playing Quake, like, you stop moving, you fucked up. You always have to be moving, like, you know, you're always jumping around, like, hyperkinetic bastard you are. And, yeah, it's like, you don't really get too much, I mean, like in Team Fortress 2, you get a bit of that, where bunny hopping's quite important, and, of course, you get rocket jumping, which I was quite pissed off. They didn't have rocket jumping in Doom 4. I know that it's a Quake thing, but at the same time, it's like, I just really kind of hope they'd put that in, because it's a classic kind of thing.
I think it'd work well in that game.
I think it would. I also think in Unreal Tournament, I think it was 2004, or 2003, where double tapping a directional key would make you jump, or like basically like dash in a direction. And I think Doom 4 would actually really benefit from that, because you feel quite stodgy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's... It's the sort of game that it's I feel it's not great, but it is nearly good.
It's very nearly good, but it's just not.
Yeah, because there's just so many little things that kind of just hamper it. The lack of maneuverability is one. You feel like you should have a bit more. I mean, you do have quite a bit because you've got a double jump, and like if you...
Oh no, the double jump is very cool.
And if you're near a ledge, then that double jump you can then like latch onto things and you pull yourself up. Things like that. That it gives you quite a lot of movement. But it feels like you should have a little bit more than you already have.
It's not enough movement.
Or maybe
that's my problem.
Maybe just move a bit faster. I don't know. And
I think the movement speed is okay. I'd say it's just like just having the ability to like jump it, like dash left or right and back. I think that would be quite helpful, because like once you mastered that in like UT, you were fucking unstoppable. It was amazing.
I would also like it if the weapons had a bit more balance to them, because some
the weapons are a bit fucked.
Yeah, it feels kind of cheap when it feels like you're getting constantly one shot and then you shoot a guy twice in the face with a rocket launcher mid-air and he's still got half his health left, and you're like, yeah.
No, like I don't know how much of that is down to like just perception, but I got that a lot as well, where I was like, okay, I hit this guy 4 times, he hit me once. What the fuck?
I think one of the problems is that there's not much blast damage on the rocket launcher.
No, the splash damage. My favourite weapon is the rocket launcher, because, well, I'm TF2, I main soldier, I love splash damage. I like lead fire, okay? Just leave me alone. The weapons, I think, they're a bit They're quite lackluster, and it's like, okay, yeah, you've got the classic shotgun in there, but there's no, like, you rarely ever get close to someone, and even then, they've got a melee in there, because it's a multiplayer game, of course, they've got a melee. But the melee does, like, next to no damage. Because I followed this one guy for, like, 30 seconds, just meleeing him. He didn't notice I was behind him, and it didn't do shit. And I was like, okay, I've hit him, like, 4 times, why isn't he dead? I don't think it should be like a one-hit kill, but if it was like, it took half your health in one belt, because it's quite hard to get that close to someone.
Yeah, because even though this, saying that it could do with more maneuverability, it is still relatively fast when you consider...
It's relatively fast and long range.
Yeah, when you consider a modern first-person shooter, it's relatively fast for that.
No, definitely. Another problem I had with it is like, is target readability. Not specifically going like, oh, is this guy on my team, is this guy not? Because like the floating kind of colours, like coloured nameplate that's a classic, it works, but like I had trouble discerning targets from the actual map background.
To be honest, I've had that problem since about 2001, so...
Well, yeah, if it's not Valve, then they're not doing it right.
Yeah, if it's not TF2, I can't see fucking shit.
No, I mean, TF2 just ticks all the boxes and does pretty much everything right, so... But yeah, it's like, I found that a bit difficult. I thought, like, performance-wise, I thought it ran really well.
It did seem to run quite well on our machine, considering it's a bit aged.
Yeah, our machine is a bit old, and we could run it pretty well. I thought that was quite impressive. It seemed like it had a pretty consistent frame rate, hovering around 40-50.
Yeah, which isn't ideal, but
it's not the best, but that's still pretty damn good, especially for
Playing-
a fucking modern game, which are like, you're lucky to get 12 frames on some of those damn things.
Especially something that's, has got console ports. I mean, that's the thing, like, I feel slightly more well disposed to it because, like, the reviews on Steam are quite harsh, shall we say. Like, there's some people who are citing, like, technical issues, like, we can run it at a passable frame rate,
Yeah.
but some people can't. They're getting, like, 10 frames a second, or the thing just doesn't load, and those kind of negative responses perfectly acceptable.
No, that's fine, yeah.
But
we did have one bug where it won't register our name on Steam. It just like we can't, like, we thought it was like they fucked up by not by hiding away the what's my name, like change the character name, but no, it's just fucked up and it just keeps calling us Doom Marine.
Yeah, apparently that's a bug, 'cause it's supposed to pull it from your Steam, apparently.
And it doesn't, which is fucking weird.
But yeah, a lot of the comments that people are leaving and the reviews, like, people fucking hate it. They're like, oh my god, this is just totally, like, just fucking Call of Duty,
Okay, now I'm gonna say, yes, it obviously has Call of Duty elements like perks and level ups, but fucking everything does nowadays.
Yeah.
That and, like, visually, like, they don't look like they don't look like UAC Marines. Which is so fucking classic. I would love to be so fucking, like, rocking around as, like, a proper Doom Marine. But no, they look like fucking, like, guys from Halo. They look so generic.
They do, and I think that doesn't help as well. But still, even though, it doesn't feel quite like an old school shooter.
Oh no,
and and the aesthetic of the actual Marines doesn't look like a Doom Marine. They look like any, when you have, like, the custom Spartans from Halo, and they just look like those.
It honestly, like, apart from the hell level, and even then, if you're not looking in certain places, it just feels like any kind of sci-fi multiplayer shooter with a bit of a callback to old school multiplayer first-person shooters.
Even with that in place, it's not an unmitigated disaster.
No, that's the thing. My biggest problem with it is that it's all right.
It's fine.
It works, I guess, and it's like, oh, come on! I played Doom when it came out, and it was great, and the multiplayer was fucking awesome.
I don't think I ever actually played Doom in multiplayer.
No?
No, I played Duke Nukem 3D in multiplayer quite a bit at college.
Well,
but
that was a good one for
I
multiplayer.
I don't know if I ever actually played Doom.
I played a lot of Doom multiplayer as a kid. Like, I played with my brother a lot, because he'd be, like, on the upstairs computer and I'd be on the downstairs computer, and we'd just have, like, a 1v1.
Yeah.
No, I think... I mean, I guess I like it more than dislike it, but there are a hell of a lot of problems with it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's fine. I think
just fine.
Yeah,
and for something that's calling itself Doom, which I refuse, it will always be Doom fucking 4, because I hate this fucking trend.
Oh yeah, just calling it Doom is stupid.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. It's Doom 4, fuck you. That's my little grumble over, for now. Oh, there's another thing. You can play as the demons, and then John was a zombie.
You can be the zombie, yes.
You can be the zombie, okay. So sporadically throughout the match, a demon rune will appear. And this is a very interesting addition, because it's like, okay, this is kind of out of fucking left field.
It's entirely possible it was in the Doom 3 multiplayer.
I don't know.
I never ever played
Nobody fucking played it. Hardly anyone played fucking, like, much of Doom 3. Like,
I don't know, it was fairly widely played when it first came out.
It was not well received, though.
Not really, no.
Although it wasn't very good.
Well,
I had that amazing, like, weapon, the really OP one, the flashlight.
Yeah.
That was hardcore.
Yeah, the thing with Doom 3 is that I've noticed that its retrospective, like, reputation is actually getting better, because over time people are looking back at it and actually kind of going, you know what, it wasn't that bad. Like, people are actually finding a lot more to like about it now, especially in the face of modern shooters, which sort of became a real just slush of mediocrity for a long time.
Yeah.
And so people are, like, looking back on Doom 3 quite fondly, so it's...
Well, yeah, hindsight is pretty good, because, yeah, it's like, at the time, I remember getting really when I used to get hyped, when I still had hope. I remember getting really, like, excited about it before it came out at the time. I was, like, 16 when it was coming out. I was like, oh my god, this looks so great, and it's pretty. Yay! That means it's going to be a good game.
Well, I had a new PC built to play that and Half-Life 2. Guess which one of them I played the most of?
Let me guess. Oh, this is I remember complaining with a mate of mine about the specs because it was like, oh yeah, you need 5 gig of RAM to play this properly, and that did not exist at the time.
Oh yeah,
and we were like, what? Fucking, are you serious?
Only theoretical supercomputers could actually meet the recommended specs for Doom 3 on launch.
And it still didn't look that great.
No, like Half-Life 2...
Like, how have we optimized this so badly?
Yeah, so Half-Life 2 looked, in some ways it didn't look quite as good, but in other ways it looked a lot better.
I'd say the only difference really is that Doom 3 had better shaders.
Yeah, but Half-Life 2 ran vastly better.
Consistency, that's what's key. But yeah, no, never played Doom 3 multiplayer because, of course, No one did, and
if you think you did, you're wrong.
You're
Sorry.
wrong. That was literally a fever dream, and we hope you get well soon. You're actually in a coma, and we want you to wake up. Like, your family misses you.
Yeah, so Doom 4, multiplayer beta.
Seems
alright. Hopefully that means that the multiplayer in the full game will be alright, but hopefully they'll fix a few of the little nagging issues.
Yeah.
That would be good. So,
Wib, my darling, my sweetness, the apple of my eye, what else have you been playing?
Dark Souls.
Okay. Is this the part where you want to talk about Dark Souls 3 for an hour and a half?
I can do it now, or I can do it after we've talked about everything else, because I'll probably be talking for quite some time.
You know what, that's probably a really good idea.
Okay, so I won't talk about Dark Souls.
Okay, just don't say anything for now, and we'll get to it.
We'll get to it later. We'll get to the part where I get to talk about Dark Souls later.
Yes.
I've been playing Dark Souls.
Okay, yeah, I know. And that's really cool.
It is very cool.
But we need to talk about other things first.
Okay, what else have we got to talk about?
Well, I've been reading a lot about this, and I'd like to talk about Quantum Break.
Oh, yes.
More specifically, I want to talk about the Quantum Break PC port.
And how it's kind of crap.
How it's barely fucking functional.
Just so people know before going to this, we haven't played Quantum Break.
We have not played it, because there's no way we could.
Because it requires either having an Xbone, which we will never buy, because why would we? Or having a PC with Windows 10 on it.
Which, fuck off, will we ever installing Windows 10?
Well, maybe in in a year or so, like when there's actually a reason to, but right now. And by the time we'll install Windows 10, no one will remember Quantum Break, so,
Okay. Windows 10 uses the UWP thing.
Yeah, it's like a thing.
It's a universally, what is it? Universal Windows platform. Okay, that's what Microsoft are trying to push, because they fucking forgot how dreadful Games for Windows fucking Live was! That wasn't literally the fucking worst! Just saying.
That thing that they quietly kind of cancelled.
Yeah, and then broke everything when they fucking did.
Yeah.
And then they basically pulled it again with this UWP shit. Okay. UWP has caused a lot of problems, especially for, YouTubers, it means that fraps can't record it?
Yeah, one of the big problems with it is that what it does is it makes the programs you buy through it work more like apps on like an iPad or whatever.
Oh goody, I love playing all my games on fucking iPhone.
So you can't access their file structure, they're just kind of a singular entity that you just boot up. They're not a real executable as we know them. So anything that hooks into the way their graphics work, like say fraps or something like a good example would be DS Fix, the thing that makes Dark Souls 1 not be shit on PC.
Oh yeah, because you can't patch UWPs, can you?
No, because
they're not, as you say, technically inexecutable.
Yes, you can't mod them. You can't mess around with the files. So things that fix resolution issues or graphical issues from a set of separate files you throw in there that hook into their graphics to change them, those will not work. So yeah, these UWPs are bad for that kind of shit, and Fraps doesn't work with them for that reason. Yeah,
I have not heard many a good thing about them, and it seems the UWP has seemed to absolutely fucking bushwhack Quantum Break. There is so many fucking issues with this. Alright, it can't run at 60 FPS. Okay, no, that's a lie. The max frame rate of Quantum Break is linked to your monitor's refresh rate.
So that makes sense.
So you can't have 60 frames per second on a 60Hz monitor. You just can't fucking attain it. That's legit.
Isn't it it can run at 5/6 of your monitor's refresh rate.
I think that's the fraction exactly. Yeah.
So like if you have a 60 hertz monitor, your Quantum Break will only ever run at 50 frames a second.
Yeah.
Not that chances are you'll ever get it that high,
no.
but that's the fastest it can run. It's really weird.
Frame rate inconsistencies as well. Now, there is an option in there to lock your frame rate to 30. That doesn't work in the PC version.
Oh, great.
It just doesn't fucking work. Like, it works fine, like, on the Xbone version, because the Xbone version works fine.
Isn't the Xbox One just locked to 30 anyway?
I think so. I'm not sure. But, yeah, it works fine on the Xbone version, does not work on the PC version, because, yeah. The frame rate, there's constant crashing. Apparently that's also linked to an instability with users using NVIDIA cards.
Oh, great. So, like half the people who are ever going to do it,
Yeah, I mean, I remember the olden days where it's like, oh yeah, it's like if you didn't have this, if you had like an obscure card, you were basically fucked.
Yeah, I
for the
remember
most
that.
part, and then they realized that, hey, wait, we're selling people very expensive things, and they get angry and have like guns and stuff. Maybe we should not be dicks about this whole thing. Another really fun thing, from the main menu, there is no way to quit the game.
Great.
You have to Alt F4 that mother.
That's a sign of a quality product.
Oh yes, top-notch port
There's a lot
right
of stuff
there.
about it, like running like an app. Like you're not supposed to like close it down properly, like you would a program. It's like, oh, you have to it's probably just fucking running in the background. It's like how the Xbox One just like minimizes everything. You don't really shut anything down.
Also, image. They've got a lot of weird imaging problems because it has a certain system. I'm not entirely 100% on how it works, but it does this fancy little thing. So it uses less resources, but can still look really good. And that just doesn't work on the PC version at all. So like the textures are quite blurry, and it's not 1080p. What it does is it technically upscales from 720, but really badly.
Yeah, because I imagine the Xbone version will run at 720.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So yeah, it's a fucking mess. It's like I can't really get mad at Remedy because Remedy have acknowledged that there is a problem. Like publicly, they've gone and like listed bugs and basically turned around and gone, we will fix these. No date. No like, oh yeah, we're gonna fix these by this time. Just, oh yeah, guys, we'll fix it and we know about them. It's like, that's something, but it's like I'm not really mad at Remedy because it's UWP that's fucking everything. For the most part, you know what I mean?
It does seem like
seems like the ultimate game fucker.
It does seem like the game probably would have come out and been alright, or at the very least salvageable without this UWP system. But so many it's causing so many problems. Like, it was sort of the worst case scenario, because if I remember rightly, I think Rise of the Tomb Raider was available through the same system, because you buy these things through the Windows store, the Windows 10 store thing. They basically want to rival Steam with this stuff.
Yeah, well, I wish they'd just fucking remember Games for Windows Live and just fucking stop. Because they can't fucking do it.
Well, yeah, but they have very short memories and are very greedy.
Well, quite frankly, Microsoft can just fuck off. Yeah. I'm sick of that shit. I think pretty much every software developer / game dev, apart from a few, and a few publishers, fucking hate me personally with a seething fucking hatred and want to see me suffer and die. I just wish that Microsoft would conceal that a little better. Because it's right now, it's like they might as well be mailing pictures of dicks to me. They are the shittiest dicks at the shit dick convention, and I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, it's not super bad because there's only been two, as far as I'm aware, there's only a couple of games using this system, and
yeah, but they're charging £50 for this fucking game that does not work. This is fucking, it's like charging money for Sonic Boom. If it's not illegal, it's at least morally bankrupt. I've also heard, right, about fucking Quantum Break, fucking UWP. If you play it offline, it has a piracy kind of thing where, like Alan Wake did, where you have a pirate eye patch. If it detects you've got a pirated version of the game. If you play that offline, a legitimate copy, it gives you the eye patch because it thinks you're pirating it.
Well, why would you be playing offline unless you were a pirate? That's the only reason someone isn't online all the time.
Or maybe
Microsoft already proved that's what they thought, because that's what the entire Xbox One launch fiasco was all about.
Yeah, how has everyone fucking forgotten about this? God, everyone's got a fucking short memory. God damn, fuck Microsoft.
But yeah, this was sort of the worst case scenario for them because as far as I'm aware, the only other big launch that's been on the Windows 10 store was Rise of the Tomb Raider.
I didn't hear anything about that.
Well, it also had a Steam release as well, so which is where most people would have bought it. But as far as I'm aware, Quantum Break is the first big game to be exclusive to it, and so what they really needed was the first game that was a big exclusive to it to be perfect. They needed that to not fuck up.
But
they
yes, but fuck up it did.
Well, they needed it to, because people were fucking worried about this system because it sounds awful, mostly because it is.
Well, yeah.
And, so they needed it to work right, and the fact that they brought it out and everything everyone was worried about happened.
It's been pretty catastrophic.
The only way it could have been worse is if the game just didn't boot. Is if, like, for most people, the game just didn't boot.
To be fair, that seems like the best thing that could have happened.
Or if it was like that Steel Battalion with the Kinect, where it just, most people can barely get past the tutorial segment because it just doesn't work.
I mean, the biggest kicker is apparently, like, the reviews on Expo have been really quite positive. Apparently it's quite a fun game.
Yeah, I've heard it's alright.
I've heard it's pretty decent.
When you're not playing on the PC.
When you're not playing on the fucking PC. But it's like, I'm not buying an Xbone for one fucking game. You are not Metal Gear.
But if I haven't bought a PS4 for Bloodborne, then I'm not going to buy an Xbox
I don't know, I am still super tempted to get a PS4 just for Bloodborne. I just need to sell one of my kidneys, and I'll be there. You know what I mean?
We'll get there eventually.
Send your kidneys to Snipe and we play.
You can email kidneys now.
Yes. They also have email on computers now.
So I hear. So yeah.
So I guess we've beat around the bush long enough. So go on, tell us all about Dark Souls 3.
Well.
Okay, should I get comfortable?
Yes, you should get comfortable and probably just go and make a drink. So I'm just going to talk to the microphone for a while.
Okay, I'll be back in a moment.
So, I've been playing Dark Souls 3. I'm about 10 hours through it. So not super far. That's like 4 bosses, or at least that's how many bosses I've beaten in my time with it. I think 4 anyway. I'm really liking it so far.
I have heard very good things, and it does play. Having played a little bit, it is a lot more reminiscent of Dark Souls 1,
which is good.
Which is
very good.
Dark Souls 2 was a bit piss weak.
I mean, it's the thing with. I think I said this when we did a video on it ages ago. I'll say ages ago. It's like less than a year ago. But Dark Souls 2 is, if you take it on its own, a very good game. But when taken in context of the Souls series, is weak.
Oh, definitely.
And that's really its problem. Of that, it's one of the weaker entries to a really good series.
It's the Metal Gear 2.
Yeah. It's a similar kind of thing where it's not inherently terrible. It's just has a lot to live up to. It is what they've done is it feels like they looked at every single Souls game that came before it, including Demon's Souls and Bloodborne, and they sort of took everything that sort of worked from each of them and kind of threw them all together, which should, theoretically speaking, create the perfect Souls game.
Or a complete mess.
I don't know if it is the best one. I've not played enough of it to tell that, and I do have a real soft spot for Dark Souls 1, which I would count easily in my top 5 games of all time.
That's understandable, yeah.
Which is funny because when I first played it, I didn't really like it.
You didn't get it because you weren't good enough.
Well, I didn't. I mean, hell, the video...
Then you got good.
The video that's on our channel, the Dark Souls video, is from before I really got the game. So, I could appreciate that there were elements of it that were really well made, but, I just didn't get it. And I do feel that the start of Dark Souls 1, once you get to Lordran, isn't the most user-friendly for new players. Because
it's Dark Souls, it's not user-friendly, period.
Well, because there's so much freedom of where to go, it's very easy.
It's very easy to accidentally sequence break and fuck yourself over.
Well, it's like when, I convinced Drummer Matt to give it a go, and he ended up, completely going the wrong way at the very start of the game, and ended up in the Valley of the Drakes, getting himself murdered.
That's where he should have been.
He was meant to just be going to go and beat the what's it fucking called? the Taurus demon. He was meant to be going up there and beating that in the Undead Burg. And
he's like, nah,
instead,
dragons.
He just naturally went where he felt the game was leading him, and he ended up in the Valley of the Drakes. And it's like, well, I can't blame you. You got there. I mean, you were sequence breaking like crazy using the Master Key, but the game let you do that, so I can't really blame you, and that is a flaw of Dark Souls 1.
That's a flaw, but that's also a thing that people like about it, where it doesn't hold your hand, which I'm starting to really hate as a phrase. But it's accurate. It's basically, it throws you into a world and goes, fucking deal with it, scrub.
Yeah, I mean, that openness at the start does mean that, when you're playing the game for a second time, or a third, or fourth, or 17th, then you have so much freedom to go where you want and do what you want, and you can go, okay, I want to go get this item from here, I'm going to go get that, I'm going to go get that the extra
Estus shard.
I can't remember what they're called. I've been playing multiple Souls games like very close to each other. You get so confused with certain terminologies. So I want to say Estus shard, and it's like, no, it's not an Estus shard. What's it called?
It's an Ember shard.
It's a Firekeeper's soul.
No, it's not. It's an Estus shard.
No, it's a Firekeeper's soul in Dark Souls 1.
It's a Firekeeper's Estus shard.
It does a different thing. It's the equivalent of Sublime Bone Dust in the second one, which is what you've played most.
I played most of the second one because that was the easiest.
Yeah.
And I'm going to admit, no shame in it, I suck at Souls games. I really respect the fuck out of them, and I love them, and I love the way they tell a story, and the characters, and the voice acting, and the combat, and how different it is, and just, it's badass. But I suck at them.
In fairness, they're fucking hard. So
yeah. No, I just need to get good. I appreciate that's my problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just happy to be there, which is why I spent pretty much 90% of playing Dark Souls 2 being summoned to help people fight bosses. Because I was just like,
it's quite fun.
I just like helping people out. I'm a giver. I like to give back.
But anyway, in Dark Souls 3, they seem to have taken a lot of the things that work really well. So like to say that one of the problems with Dark Souls 1 is that it was very easy to get kind of lost early on, whereas Dark Souls 3 is fairly linear at the start, but I think that's helpful because when there is so many places to go, being funneled down the right way is very helpful to begin with because it gets you acquainted with how the game's going to treat you.
Oh, definitely, yeah, because like there is always a degree of hand-holding needed. Like, you can't just go like, fuck you.
Yeah, because that's always a problem
because
I had with
that just creates frustration and you get fed up with it. And, Dark Souls 1.
It's a problem I always had with the Elder Scrolls games, is that they quite often just kind of threw you into a world, and I was always like, well, I don't really have a reason to care.
Yeah, no,
you could go anywhere, and I found that to be, that complete freedom felt restrictive to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, they've done well with that. So the early game is very neatly kind of made, so it feels like you're this massive sprawling area, but it's actually this very kind of linear thing, which I think Bloodborne did a similar thing where it didn't kind of just let you go everywhere at the start. It had this kind of the first big area was very, very linear for you to go through, and so I think that's good. They've taken a lot of design they've taken a lot of the level design not from Dark Souls 2.
So that's good.
Which is good, because Dark Souls 2 level design was terrible.
It wasn't the best.
And so it's got a lot more of the interwoven level design.
Shortcuts.
Yeah, and shortcuts
That's a big thing in Dark Souls.
Which was big in Dark Souls.
Little shortcuts here and there.
They actually remind me a lot of the levels from Demon Souls, because Demon Souls was quite good at making one spawn point do a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
Because you only ever had one spawn point per area. Like, you'd go through the entire area off one spawn point, keep opening shortcuts back there, and then beat the boss. Then get a new spawn point, which were... I always forget the name. This is, again, I forget the names of so many different games. They have similar names for the same things, but not quite. It's like it's the pathway to the Nexus, anyway. You unlock a new one of those every time you beat a boss, and so they were the only ways to get a new, spawn point. And the rest of it you had to do through shortcuts. And this is a bit more reminiscent of that kind of thing, which was also very prone in Dark Souls 1. Although there are a lot more bonfires in this than in Dark Souls 1. It feels like anyway. Like, sometimes I think there's a bit... That's probably it's one of the few
Dark
flaws
Souls
I've
2
seen.
had a hell of a lot of bonfires just fucking everywhere.
It's not as bad as Dark Souls 2 for it.
No.
But I do feel like they could probably remove maybe a third of the bonfires. Because sometimes you're like, I've got like two bonfires within like 2 minutes of each other here.
Think about us scrubs, okay? We need this.
So it's taken a lot of cues from its level design from the better games in the series that have had that level design. But it also feels... I know there's some people who don't think it feels that much faster, but I don't know, it feels quite fast to me.
To me, like, especially coming out, like, I did not play Bloodborne. You know, don't have any way to.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Dark Souls 2, which is quite slow. And then going into Dark Souls 3, fucking yes, that's fast. That might not be as fast as Bloodborne, but no, that is a lot faster. Which is welcome, you know, it really does fucking grab you by the fucking shoulders and shake you about. Definitely, yeah, that's cool.
It does seem to prize being aggressive more. So I know I found, because in Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, I often found that it's a very defensive style of play you're usually going to be in those games, and Demon Souls as well. So usually kind of going on the offensive was usually just a really good way to get yourself killed. Whereas, I don't know, maybe it's just the weapons I've been using, or just the kind of enemies I've been facing, but I found way more opportunities to be aggressive and to really go on the attack with the enemies in Dark Souls 3, which... Or more accurately, to be able to do it, and that be a way that actually works. Because that was the thing, you could
without
do it
getting immediately butchered.
You could do it in all the games, but it's just you'd usually get your ass handed to you doing it.
Yeah, you can do it, but fucking good luck.
But I've been really, really enjoying it so far. Definitely enjoying it more than I did Dark Souls 2. More than Demon Souls as well.
Demon Souls, it's like you played like Dark Souls 1 a good few times. Dark Souls 2, and then went back to Demon Souls. So it's understandable that you'd be like, well, this isn't... Because you're playing the better version... Well, Dark Souls 1 is the better version.
Yeah,
it's the
absolutely.
improved version.
I mean, I don't dislike...
So it's completely... obviously you won't like it as much.
Yeah, it's just...
because you're used to the nice little comforts that Dark Souls 1 will have, that Demon Souls did not.
Yeah, I just think that overall, like things like the Estus system is just infinitely superior to eating watercress.
Yeah, watercress is kind of lame.
which of course was Demon Souls' method of you healing.
Quick, eat all of this crazy salad grass.
That is another thing.
You've been burnt. Eat some kale.
That is another thing in Dark Souls 3. The Estus system is back without the life gems, which Dark Souls 2 had. Which
I thought life gems were they were super useful, but they were a bit. Like, they shouldn't have been there.
No, they made the game...
really feel... I was sitting there going, I don't really feel that this is right. I shouldn't really have access to these, because I've drunk all my Estus, and now I've got... No.
Well, they had to have it because it took so long to have a respectable amount of Estus flasks in that, because you had to gradually gather the shards.
Yeah.
Granted, in Dark Souls 3, you also have to gather the shards, but at least you start with, I think, 4, so it's not too bad, and I'm up to, 8 now, so that's kind of a perfectly fine amount.
Yeah.
And so that's actually one of the things it has taken from Dark Souls 2 is that sort of things, as well as various little things that were very, very helpful to have, like being able to, when you go, using a one of the souls you've picked up.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my fading souls. I don't have to.
I have 30 of them.
Okay. No, you can actually just set off to pop them all at once,
or pop a specific amount. I only want to pop 4.
Yeah, which is something that comes from Dark Souls 2.
That was very cool.
Because that's the thing. There's a lot of things that I think they describe them as quality of life upgrades.
They're not really changing anything, but it does make it a hell of a lot nicer.
Yeah, just minor little things that Dark Souls 2 did that were superior to the original.
And weapon degradation is nowhere near as fucked as it was in Dark Souls 2, because I always had to carry an extra fucking weapon.
And the worst thing is that From Software basically said, oh yeah, no, that's working as designed.
And why isn't it in Bloodborne or Dark Souls 3?
Yeah, exactly.
If it was working so perfectly.
They had the system and it was just fucking bullshit.
No, it was fucking garbage, and they fucking knew it was garbage.
Because otherwise it would be...
turned around and went, oh no, it's completely fine, shut up.
Because otherwise it'd be in the subsequent games.
Exactly.
And it's not.
So fuck you.
Yeah, it's been very much like playing a kind of greatest hits of the Souls series up to this point. Like lots of little references to previous games.
Oh yeah, like Andre,
Yeah,
the blacksmith, and then there's the Firelink Shrine, which is basically the what's it called in Demon Souls?
The Nexus.
It's basically the fucking Nexus.
It looks very, very similar to the Nexus.
Yeah,
from
and like
Demon Souls,
there's another character who looks a lot like a character.
Yeah, won't spoil it, but there's...
I'm not going to spoil it, but you encounter a character and you're like, wait a minute!
Who has a very similar name, wears
Very
the
similar
same
name.
armor, and has a very similar personality.
Yeah, and you're
I don't
like,
know if it's the same voice actor, because I can't remember what his voice actor sounds like in the first one.
I don't know.
It's been I've not encountered him for a while, because I don't know... the way I play...
I hope he's okay.
I hope so.
He's a cool guy.
Because the way I play Dark Souls is I with Dark Souls 1 is I occasionally just boot it up and then I'll get to like the bell gargoyles and then kind of not play for a while.
And then fantasize about kissing Solaire.
Only a little.
Because look, you're human. All of us want to do a kissing on Solaire, okay?
Yeah, did you have feelings for me?
Wouldn't that be weird if I did? Like that comic that person drew was like, oh, you've got feelings for me, and then they're like frantically hiding the body pillow of him they have.
But yeah, then I'll go and play with like one of my old saves where I'm like into New Game Plus or whatever, and then I'll start messing around there. But I've played that like intro like hour and a half of Dark Souls so many times that a lot of the characters I haven't actually met that many times, like Big Hat Logan and Sigmire, like. I've encountered them on my full playthroughs, but like you don't encounter them like super early on in the game. So, well, I shouldn't say that. You do encounter Sigmar just before the Bell Gargoyles if you go a certain way. So,
well, yeah, it's all twisty and weird. You know, I really like Luca Teal from the second one.
Yeah, she was.
I thought she was fantastic.
I mean, the big problem with Dark Souls 2's characters was that you had these really cool characters, but they never went anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, if you got them to appear at Majula, then they just stayed there. Whereas the ones in Dark Souls 1 went off and did stuff and went all over the place. Yeah. And trying to fucking track Sigmire is nigh impossible. I think like...
He's a blundering fool.
Well, because he ends up, like, I think it's like after Anor Londo, he goes to fucking Blighttown.
Why?
If I remember rightly,
he's a dim bulb.
I think the actual reason is that in original builds of the game, that was closer to the order that you did things.
Okay.
So his order of going to things,
up.
is derived from that. So that's why it's a bit all over the place.
Yeah.
The characters seem quite good in Dark Souls 3 so far. I mean, I've not played enough of it to fully see like anyone's arc or anything. I mean, I've encountered a handful of characters.
I did. There was the character we were talking about earlier. The way you encounter them, I think, is amazing.
Yes.
That is just like you're like, oh, hello. I can't talk about it. I don't want to spoil anything because people will kill me. But I think that was really like sweet. I was like, oh, how lovely. Like, this game is fucking hateful as shit. But,
well, that's always been the thing with Dark Souls, or just the Souls series in general, is that the NPCs are some of the more interesting parts of the game because they're so interesting.
They're lovely, yeah, I really do. You always look forward to having a conversation with an NPC.
No, it helps that even the voice acting is generally fairly good.
It's very good.
And even when, like, I don't want to say that some of them are bad per se, but when they kind of might come across as a little bit silly, like say Framp's voice from Dark Souls 1, it's
okay.
It's still interesting.
Because he's a creepy thing, and yeah, he's gonna have the sound he makes with his mouth is gonna be strange.
I guess if you look at the shape of his mouth, then you know him having a normal voice would be weird.
Yeah, I guess.
Actually, if you listen to him when he's talking, you can hear his weird, like, slopping and things in between it. His just awful serpent noises.
Ugh.
You can still hear that.
I do like Framp, though. I think he's a cool... thing. Yeah.
And one thing, I have heard that we've been very lucky with Dark Souls.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot of people have had some real problems running it.
Yeah, like, I think
we've been incredibly lucky.
I think the first bonfire is actually like a game crasher to a lot of people.
Yeah, I have heard
so,
that.
Yeah,
Isn't like the PS4 version the worst for it?
I don't know. I've not heard much about the PS4 version of it.
Oh, well, it's like I'm sure there's a console. I honestly don't quote me, but I'm sure I heard somewhere that there's a console version that's quite rough.
I mean, I know that I'm pretty sure the console versions are only running at 30 frames a second.
Which is strange that we've got like a Dark Souls on PC that runs, well, at least for us, like frame rate wise, pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm still interested to see what Durante comes out with. The guy who came up with DS Fix for the first one.
Yeah.
Who made it fucking playable.
I think he did one for Dark Souls 2 as well, although we played it when it was Scholar of the First Sin.
Yeah, we played
so
Scholar
it ran
of the First
fine
Sin.
by then.
Yeah, it ran fine. It took them fucking long enough, but they managed it.
But yeah, we've had no problems with it. But yeah, there's bonfire glitches where it's just not working. People who are just constantly crashing. People who are having real shitty frame rates on really good machines, because we were a little worried, because when seeing the specs of the game, we were like, oh, we were somewhere between medium and recommended.
Yeah.
So we were like, this probably isn't going to run at 60 on our machine, and it doesn't. It runs about 50 odd, something
which
like
is
that, which is fine.
Which is fine.
I'm used to Dark Souls 1 being locked at 30 and running much lower than that in Blighttown,
yeah.
so
I mean,
it's
that,
fine.
it basically was like, hey, I'm auto-detecting that everything should be on high, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're drunk, but that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we do occasionally have a few frame drops here and there.
Only in, very large areas, but even then, it's like, for as pretty as that game is, I'm okay with the occasional dip.
Yeah, it's okay.
But for the most part, for us anyway, it has been relatively stable.
But yeah, it's been very bad for a lot of people. So that is a thing. Even though I'm praising the game and saying I'm really liking it, that is something too. If you're thinking of buying it,
be aware that there are problems. It might not work on your machine at all, which is a massive pain in the dick.
Yeah, but people who have played it, it does seem to be generally getting fairly positive things.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of people saying honestly, this is my favourite Souls game, and I haven't
seen that. I want to see I want to give it a month and see what people are saying then, because that's when you know what people are saying is legit, and they're not just, oh, I'm so happy because I got this new shiny game. Whee! So we'll see how people actually feel about it in a little while, but.
Yeah, and I know it's funny because I was looking on Twitter because I'm the sort of idiot that occasionally when I see something trending, I'll look through it.
Oh God,
and
why?
see what the other human beings have to say, and then become horrified by my fellow man. Yeah. But Dark Souls was trending when the game came out, so I had a bit of a look to see how people were dealing with it. And yeah, there was some people, there's the usual stuff you encounter, people just making, it's so difficult.
Oh, it's just too easy. Look how fucking hardcore I am.
Actually, I didn't see any of that. I didn't see anyone say it was too easy.
Really?
No, I've not seen a single person say that.
I am so fucking surprised. Because usually, especially Devil May Cry, it was before Dark Souls, that was the big thing. It's so easy. And it's fuck you, okay? Stop this fucking humble bragging. You're being a dick.
I'm sure that people leaving YouTube comments will say that it's the easiest game in the world, because that's what YouTube comments are for. It's for people to show off the size of their dick in regards to Souls games.
Yeah. Or oh my god, you don't do this? Well, that's why you're lame and I touch boobs all the time?
Yeah, that's the worst part of the Souls community, is the smugness.
The elitism.
Yeah. But yeah, the things I was seeing on Twitter was no one's saying it's too easy, there's a handful of people saying it doesn't run properly, and a million fucking people going, oh my god, look at me, look, I'm going to be streaming it and giving away copies of it, come please watch my stream, please, seriously, please watch my stream.
See, fair enough if you want to give away stuff, but basically sitting there going, come watch my stream if you want free stuff, is a bit too cynical.
Yeah, but these are people that that get severely higher views than we do. So I guess what a fucking wiener.
Yeah, well, that's we have these really pesky things called morals. I'm not going to go any further to that because then I will bitch for another few hours about that. But
the thing that I saw quite a lot of people saying was how hard they were finding it, which was
didn't it it drew in a lot of new players?
Yeah, it did seem to, and so people were having real trouble with the first boss.
Oh my sweet summer children!
I mean, I will say that for a first boss, I was thinking about it. I mean, obviously I haven't played Bloodborne, so I can't.
Some spoilers here if nobody, because some people don't want to know absolutely anything. So.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, we've been spoiling it all the time. Why are you still fucking listening? Oh my goodness,
we've not really been spoiling anything. We've done quite well.
Pretty good, but at the same time,
not talking about specifics.
Yeah, but some people are like, oh my god, how dare you tell me that Ares dies in Final Fantasy VII? Spoiler fucking warning, you asshole! And you're like, dude, people who were born at the time that game came out are grandparents now. Fucking get over it.
Yeah.
But this is a few days old, so...
Yeah, but I'm of the opinion that something that happens within the first hour of a game is not a spoiler.
Well, some people beg to differ.
Yeah, I'm not going to... Like I say, I'm not going to spoil anything. But I'm just going to say the first boss, which you encounter in the first, 15 minutes...
Yeah, he's pretty quick.
He's quite fast, and he has multiple phases, which is the big difference between, say, the Asylum Demon doesn't really have phases, and he's slow.
And the Last Giant is just big and slow, and...
Yeah. He does technically have a phase, 'cause he rips his arm off at one point.
Yeah, but it was so boring.
Yeah, it's a very slow fight.
I never noticed. But no,
we can't fucking see him because he's too tall.
He's too fucking big. No, I think, like, coming at it from someone who isn't as good at Souls as you are, I would say that boss fight does seem like, out of the Asylum Demon and the Last Giant, I don't know about the first Bloodborne one, Dark Souls 3's first boss does seem like the hardest, because, like, I stated in the video, versus polearms, I am terrible. They're my Achilles heel. I can't deal with them at all. But, like, so he's got the polearm. That in itself is quite rough, but you get around it. Then he goes full Quavo, like fucking Resident Evil, blah, 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 and that's where I would not be able to pay attention to it, because it's too fast and erratic for me to focus on. So I can understand a lot of people, like, from him going from just kind of normal human movements that are quite speedy to whipping around all over the fucking place and just not knowing what the fuck. I totally understand people having a lot of trouble with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier for me because obviously
Because, yeah, I'm really good.
Well, I've beaten Dark Souls 1 and 2 a couple of times, so I'm kind of used to a lot of the things that a new player would not be used to. So yeah, I can see that first boss would be a bitch. I'd be intrigued to see how people find the second boss, because this is the thing.
The second boss, we kind of figured that out pretty much immediately. I was like, wait a minute, get under his butt.
Well, yeah, the second boss, if you've seen our video, which we put up a few days ago. I beat the second boss at the end of that video, and I somehow managed to do it without any Estus Flasks and at half health, which I still don't quite know how I did. God,
it's so hard being so amazing. Well, the thing is, games.
I don't know what the perception is of a lot of things about the game, because outside of checking the Twitter feed for what people were saying about it, I've avoided basically everything about Dark Souls 3. Like, there's things in the game that I don't understand. Like, I don't completely understand how the hollowing system works.
I don't understand the purple phantoms. Why are they there?
You can kind of summon them in and they can attack everyone.
No, they can attack everything apart from, I think, friendly NPCs. But why? You know, I'm just kind of like, why?
I mean, some people. That's a thing from the old. I can't remember if they're in Dark Souls 1, but in Dark Souls 2 there was a covenant where you could put yourself down so people could summon you for a PvP phantom battle.
I know in Dark Souls 2 you could have, like, you could write on the floor and go, "This is me. Come and summon me if you want, your ass beat," basically. But, like, yeah, purple phantoms that can attack everything is just really strange. It's like, I agree, like, I appreciate it adds a bit of a wild card to it.
I think
it's a bit random.
I think that's what they're going for.
That's probably what they're going for, which is like, okay, whatever. I mean, I don't think it hurts the game in any way. I just think it's kind of like, oh, okay, that's the thing. Don't fucking, no idea how the fuck hollowing works.
But yeah, but the thing is, I've actively avoided stuff, so there's those things in the game, like the hollowing, that I don't fully understand yet. And I'm kind of loath to look at them because I've never played a Souls game this close to launch either. Because I played Dark Souls several years after it was released, and then I played Dark Souls 2 when Scholar of the First Sin came out. Yeah. So that was a year or so afterwards. And I played Demon's Souls after both of those. Yeah. So I've never played one while it's been new and fresh, and I had no idea of what anything was. So it's I've not looked up a single thing so far. So even just the simple thing of figuring out which way to go and am I going the right way? And basically finding out because, there's an enemy that way that I can conceivably beat. So then you'll know that that's probably the right way.
Yeah.
So that's been really quite fun. But yeah, also I'm approaching that point now where I'm I don't know. I might have to actually occasionally look something up. But it also means I don't know what's perceived as difficult. If I'm having trouble with a boss, if I'm missing something. There is a giant tree boss.
Oh, that one.
Where it's kind of a bit gimmicky. It's got weak points on it, and you have to.
The Bed of Chaos. The Bed of Chaos was a bit of a tree.
Yeah,
and
but
had weak points on it.
it's like the Bed of Chaos, except fun and designed by a human being that didn't hate humanity.
Oh, so way better then.
Yes.
Okay, cool. You know what, Dark Souls 3, you get a plus point for that.
And like I found that quite difficult until I kind of figured out what the shtick of it was, and then once I did, I managed to beat it fairly easily. But like I don't know if like that's a boss that people beat first time. So beating the second boss on half health with no Estus flasks, I don't know if that's just
If that's the baddest ass at the badass table.
I have no idea if I was being a badass, if that was actually something I should legitimately feel proud of, or if it's like, oh no, this is just like the covetous demon from Dark Souls 2. Like, if you die against this, you probably don't have thumbs or something.
Oh. Well,
Like,
I think that was pretty impressive because I would have got my ass handed to me.
I mean, it didn't harm it that basically the tactic to beating it was, oh, did you fight Sif in Dark Souls 1? If yes, then yeah, you can beat this one.
Stop making me sad.
Sif is marvellous.
Sif is the best puppy.
But yeah, I guess in short, this kind of, my rambling while trying not to give away too many spoilers, because I could talk about spoilery things all fucking day.
Oh, yes.
But I don't want to because the game's still relatively new.
Yeah.
Like, it's been out for less than a week, so...
Yeah. And like, anyone like who's listening to this on YouTube or anything, please try and avoid spoilers.
Yes, please no
Because,
spoilers.
be considerate to people who haven't played yet.
And to me, I probably haven't played the posse. You've got to yet.
Yeah, so, yeah, no spoilers, if you please.
But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it, and technical problems aside, I think it is really, really good, and at present, I think it is better than Dark Souls 2. I like it better than Demon Souls. I know Demon Souls does have its fans, but I like it better than Demon Souls. And whether I'll like it more than Dark Souls 1 really depends. After I'd have to beat it and kind of experience the whole thing to really, really know that.
Yeah, that severely remains to be seen.
Although I will say one thing that is an issue that I find personally, like I wouldn't be surprised if no one else has an issue with this. This is just a part of the nature of the series of how it's gone on. But one of the things I really like about Dark Souls 1 is that there's a lot of stuff in that you're not really sure of, like, about what's real. About, the mythology of the world and stuff. Like the whole idea of the Greylands, and that everything coming from there, and that there was no life except for the dragons, which weren't really alive, but
they were massive dicks.
But kind of are, but kind of aren't.
Yeah.
Like, all the stuff like that, like, how much of the backstory and mythology you're given that's true and how much of it is false is really up to interpretation. Even, of course, the ending of what you choose, it's up to your interpretation as to which of the endings is a good ending and which of the endings is a bad ending.
I think it's pretty fucking obvious, but then again, I would.
Yeah, I can see people's argument for both. Now, of course, Dark Souls 2 removes a lot of that ambiguity, and the Souls, as the Souls games go on, they by necessity are trying to make a more concrete mythology for the series, which means a lot of mystery and a lot of stuff where you don't understand what's going on. They have to kind of make a concrete thing that's going on just to make the entire series make sense. And I feel that is something that is being lost as the series goes on. Because the first one is really great for that of, like, I mean, hell, you go down into, like, the plane below, like, the Midgarian world that you live in.
I can't remember the word for that.
Yeah, because there's
all the knowledge on there's Asaheim, which is, I think that's where the gods hang out.
That's like where Valhalla is, isn't it?
Yeah. And
there's like the Midgard.
Jotunheim.
Is that the?
That's the underworld. Okay, Jotunheim is. Oh fuck! I know all this stuff.
Yeah.
I fucking bum off Norse mythology, and I can't remember a fucking thing. Let's just say Jotunheim.
But yeah, it's that kind of the underworld realm.
Unterheim.
You basically go into that. If you find the area, which admittedly people didn't for fucking ages, and yeah, you can go into that area and you realise that, like, the whole world that you're in doesn't feel like it makes sense because it's, like, suspended on trees and, like, there's like a sky above the sky, below the land. It's fucking weird.
That's just Nordic mythology.
Yeah, it's like it's very Nordic, and it kind of
the life tree.
It makes the world. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole oh fuck, what they're called. God, I'm forgetting everything. The actual big trees that grow from from the Greylands up into the world. Arch trees, that's what they're called. And those grow up, and they're kind of like they're what kind of like almost like what hold the world up and what everything's attached to, and they're like made of stone, and there's all this weird stuff that doesn't make any sense, but it's not supposed to. But they have to slowly try and make it make sense over the series, and that's a pity that's being lost, but it's kind of a necessity. And that's
yeah. Well, as long as they don't get to the first like human was made when a cow licked an ice cube a lot, then it's probably fine.
Is that an actual Norse mythology thing? That's
legit. I think that could have been where the ice giants came from. Where, like, an ice giant or human or a god. I can't remember. I'm very tired. But, yeah, it's like the big old angry Iceman had a block of ice and his pet cow licked it a lot. And then humans came out.
Humans and or ice giants. Please remove as necessary.
Yeah. But, like, good old Odin, he did get rid of all the ice giants. That's why I do follow Norse religion quite closely.
Because there are no ice giants around.
Can you fucking see any ice giants? Odin was all about he fucking tore out his eye for knowledge. I'm sorry, but that's fucking badass.
Yeah, well, that's what I like about the Norse gods. They committed.
Oh, yeah.
They committed. Also, there were a bunch of vaguely murderous jackasses most of the time. So it made sense that the world was a murderous jackassery-filled place.
Oh, yeah.
Because the gods were like that.
The gods were fucking weird and all over the place and stupid. But yeah, no.
So yeah, in short, Dark Souls 3, I really, really like it.
Yeah. Still a lot of problems with it performance-wise, apparently.
And hopefully that will get fixed in time, because it is, if you have enjoyed the previous Souls games, I can say that chances are you're going to really, really like this one, because it feels like a greatest hits of everything that kind of worked from previous games, like even small mechanics here and there added and a few new ones introduced, and it just all seems to be... It does just feel like they've cherry-picked everything that kind of worked.
Which is really what a sequel is supposed to do, so good on them. And
I hope that it keeps up its level of quality. I hope I don't just suddenly get to a certain part of the game and it just the entire second half of the game is like fucking Lost Isleth and just it's barely finished.
And you can see that they've completely and utterly run out of money.
Yeah, which I don't think is going to be the case.
I don't think that's going to be a problem, seeing as well. I'm pretty sure they have about twice the money of God right now.
yeah. FromSoft's done pretty well.
Oh yeah, so it should be all right.
So yeah, it's good. I enjoy it.
Has problems.
Has problems. Bear that in mind. But I can recommend it, but just be careful.
Are you happy that you've basically monopolised a third of the podcast to talk about your precious baby Dark Souls?
I guess. I could talk about it more.
No, we don't. No. We're out of time.
To be honest, like it's probably going to take quite a while to beat it, especially if I'm determined to carry on doing it more or less blind. So
okay,
I'm going to be talking about it in numerous podcasts.
Yeah, okay, folks. So every podcast from now on until Wib beats it is going to be a fucking Dark Souls 3 podcast.
Pretty much.
Oh god, I'll try and keep that down to a minimum.
Hey, and then I've got like in many months' time when I can actually start talking about specifics of what's going on, so I'm not spoiling stuff for people.
No, we're not doing that.
Actually, I will say one last thing. It's not actually about Dark Souls 3, it's about Dark Souls 1.
Who are you trying to convince?
Me, mostly.
Okay.
So I played a little bit of Dark Souls 1 while I was waiting for Dark Souls 3 to unlock.
Oh my goodness.
Because I was jonesing something crazy.
Yeah, see, I actually fulfilled my my itching to play by baking. I legitimately did.
You did, yeah.
I made cookies with things on them like Praise the Sun.
Yeah. You did.
I have very strange coping mechanisms.
But, so I played it, and I just played the first part of the game, and I loaded up a character that I'd done, like, the first hour of the game with. A character who was going to be a big armoured, heavy character with a great shield is what I was aiming for.
Oh, like a super tank.
Yeah, super heavy tank character. Their name was Brick.
No, I get that.
And I decided to play a little bit with them. And I'd finished my save when I'd previously played just before the Bell Gargoyles. So I went to go up and get them and fight them. And on the way, I was invaded.
Right.
I was invaded by someone with a truly bizarre theme character.
Right.
So they were basically wearing like it looked like a toga. I'm not entirely sure what they were wearing, but it looked like they were wearing a toga.
Are you getting really snobby and uppity about fashion souls right now?
No.
Okay.
They were doing that. I think they were called something Athena.
So they were going for like a Greek theme.
Thing, yeah.
Okay.
Wielding a bow.
All
Nothing but a bow.
Right.
Bearing in mind they were going against a person with a very big sword.
Not exactly the best versus.
I think I had the Zweihander at that point.
Oh,
so
yeah, no, that's just bad for
Yeah.
them.
So, and they weren't locking on. They were manually aiming.
Okay.
And they had a very powerful bow. I'll
right.
give them that.
But it's still a bow.
But they were refusing to play the game properly at all. And so I, understandably, like a rational Souls player, knocked them into a corner and then beat them to death.
Well, yeah, it was... Honestly, if someone didn't do that, I would wonder what was wrong with them.
And this seems to be the way that this person finds friends. Because instantly, as soon as that happened, I got a friend request from them.
They were like, maybe they were looking for a dom.
Maybe.
Which, fair enough. It's a strange way to do it, but,
Except I was just trying to work it out. I was like, why have you added me? Because if you're invading people's worlds to, like, test their strength, then play the game properly, because no one is ever going to lose against you.
Unless they accidentally, like, fucking roll off a cliff.
Yeah, I only got hit by them once and found out that they do actually hurt quite a bit when they hit, because I stopped bothering shielding because I was just wailing on them and murdering them.
You're like, you know what? I'm just gonna not put my shield up because you're so fucking puny.
I didn't even bother to heal because I was like, well, he's not going to do that again.
God, if that happened to me, I'd probably just delete my character out of just shame. Just like, oh no, I got owned by that guy.
The thing is, like, they can't be doing it to find people who are good at the game because anyone could beat them.
Well, yeah.
But so what are they doing? Are they doing it like anyone who kills them and doesn't take pity on them? Maybe that's it. They only favour ruthless people. But it's Dark Souls. Everyone's a dick.
I'm not.
Well, anyone who has been invaded or is invading is usually being a dick.
Well, if I'm invaded, I basically just go, I fucking hate being invaded. Go away. I don't want to be invaded. I'm busy.
Actually, that is one problem I have had so far. I have had a lot of latency issues with invasions in Dark Souls 3.
That was a massive problem in Dark Souls 2. Like, when Scholar of the First fucking Sin came out, that was still a big fucking problem.
To the point that I've had
They need to get that shit together.
Yeah, to the point that, like, the times I've been killed by an invader, it's been because their strikes have not occurred at the same time as their animation, even vaguely, and when my sword has literally passed through them, they're actually 10 feet away.
Yeah.
So it's been literally impossible to find them. I mean, that's standard for Souls games, but yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully that eases up.
But yeah, I thought I'd mention that weird little occurrence of the person friending me for no good reason.
Yeah.
It was just kind of weird.
Yeah.
Oh, we should also mention something for you. Probably mention because you're off your nicotine patches now.
Yes.
You are officially a non-smoker now.
I'm officially a non-smoker.
In every definition.
Yeah, I have been off my nicotine patches for a week. I did the entire 3-step process in a month because I'm hardcore as shit. No, I'm just really fucking stubborn. So I went from 25 mil to 14 mil and 7 mil to nothing in a week each. And now I am officially a non-smoker, and I'm reaping all the benefits of that. Like, my gums are bleeding a lot.
See, it's a positive sign, but you have to go through the bleeding for your gums to become better.
This is the weird thing. Okay, so smoking fucks up the circulation of blood in your mouth. So now I haven't been smoking for a month. My mouth has started figuring out that blood can go in certain places, and it's pouring out everywhere. So I was like... just like walk past the mirror, and I was like, I can taste blood, and I look at the mirror and my fucking gums are bleeding, and I'm like, oh, gum disease. So I freak out and I'm googling it, and it's like, oh no, this is legit a thing. You stop smoking, your gums start pissing blood, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right.
This feels wrong.
Look at all the benefits I'm reaping. I can sit down and watch a movie without itching to go out for a cigarette, and my gums bleed. It's amazing. I'm
also,
so much healthier.
Your taste has got better.
Yes, my taste and my sense of smell have gotten a bit... I mean, my sense of smell is fucking amazing anyway, but now it's getting a bit too good. It has to be stopped. So yeah, I'm doing well. I came off patches and I just didn't feel any withdrawal symptoms whatsoever. I think I just break the psychological reaching for a cigarette, like, in between, like, waiting for models to dry, thinking, like, about drawing something, you know, at a game, like, oh yeah, I'll roll a cigarette, because I've died, and I'll wait for respawn. Yeah, I broke that, and it's fine now. So that's really positive, and I'm really pleased. If only my gums would stop bleeding. So that was probably really gross, and everyone hates me now. So.
Oh no, we are the premier podcast for hearing about the state of its host's gums.
Oh yeah, no.
My gums are fine, by the way.
Yeah, your mouth is annoyingly healthy.
Oh yeah, well I'm nearly 30 and have not had a single filling.
Fuck you. Fuck you. My first ever dental procedure was a root canal. But whatever. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all. But yeah, I mean, usually I'd be surprised because usually our streams we always talk about porn. Which we just don't on the podcast. Maybe we should. If you guys want us to talk about pornography, we probably could, although I'm not sure what we'd say about it, apart from it's a thing. So non-smoking pornography. That's what we're all about here.
Non-smoking pornography.
On the MisanthroPod, that's what we like to talk about. And occasionally video games when we can be bothered. And that really is all we have time for.
That really is.
Let's leave you with bleeding gums pornography. Thank you very much for listening. You can find us anywhere. We're on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, Facebook. Yeah, we're on all those things. So, you know, you can
Google search us, you will find
You'll find us. So, and until next time, have a good one.
Goodbye.
Good.
Look after your gums, people.
Remember, you should always floss.